Hey, what's up? This is Jeff from Goya and Spirit Adrift, and you're listening to Doom Tomb Podcast.
And welcome to the Doom Tomb Podcast. My name is Chris. I am your host. Today we have part 2 with the band SORXE. Just saw them the other night at the Rebel Lounge in Phoenix, Arizona. Fantastic show. The band Relm opened up, R-E-L-M. I think it was their first show. I'm not quite sure. There was also another band called Mother of Thousands. I can't wait to hear some more from them. And also Sympathizer. Now, I know SORXE is going out on the West Coast for a couple of dates. Check them out when you can. Enough of this. Let's get into it. This is part 2 with the band SORXE. All right, and I think everybody's cleared out and ready to continue. We were gonna go. We were finishing talking about Blackwater. What else can you tell me about that track?
Just put some Blackwater in the commode.
Was it from too much wasabi or too much ginger? Or?
It's definitely a dark song.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's. What can we say about Blackwater? It's slow, it's dirgy, it's mean, but it's also got some elements that flip that on it around 180. So it's fun. It's really repetitive. Like a lot of the songs on this album were very repetitive. That's kind of what we were going for. Very circular and repetitive. Did I mention it was repetitive?
It seemed, from what I've gathered from like listeners, it's definitely for the fans that are really into SORXE, they love it.
Right.
For other people, they're like, it's really heavy, and then it gets into this like very SORXE-y psychedelic breakdown thing in the middle, which we like to do a lot, and has some pretty dark subject matter, which
you know what?
It almost thinks that we're talking about we lost somebody from a heroin overdose.
Yeah, I got that from listening to it. Do you have lyrics with the album? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So you know what? The people can check that lyrics, out. Yeah. They'll figure it out. They'll find it. Yeah. They'll look it up.
I'd be very interested if anybody ever figures out what the lyrics are actually from or about. It'd be awesome.
Blackwater, I kind of heard it felt like there was like this winding down into like a drug addiction, really. I don't know if that was it, but it felt like that to me. And I remember I heard some elements. I mean, granted, I'll be completely honest, I can't hear every lyric, but that's what I got out of it.
Yeah. Sure. For me, it felt like Hypnotizer was about technology and addiction, and Party Song was about drinking too much, and Matter and Void, to me, even though I wasn't the lyricist, was about sex addiction. And then Blackwater was about, Never to See, I keep saying that.
Was that where the Pornhub.com lyric came from?
Yeah, She-Males and Great Danes.
Whoa. Wow.
And then Blackwater was drugs, and then that just led on to the next song.
Which was leather shirts and rubber skirts, I think, or something like that.
Yep.
Did I get that wrong? Oh, no, I apologize.
That was the first title.
That was the working title. But it came in to be Eastern Transmission.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So that song, that sniplet, is the first part of what we're hoping to be the next chapter of SORXE. We kind of wrote that right when Jonathan first joined the band, and I was coming into my own in my new role in the band, and we have this whole amazing, we kind of just like improv'd this huge 15-minute long thing that started with that, and we were going to use that as like, here's a commercial for the next SORXE album.
Oh, cool.
And it's just me.
Right.
And my whammy pedal just kind of saying, hey, here's what's going to be next.
Here's a taste.
Yeah.
Now, have you mentioned that to anybody before?
No, I don't think we have.
You got it first. We got an exclusive here. I like it.
And then
I
that
like it.
cuts into...
The Endless Chasm.
Yep.
The Endless Chasm, to me, I mean, finishing the journey, going to the next level, and I wrote like, almost like the idea of don't wish for something because you just might get it. Now, that's what I got out of it. Now, if you could you explain something about the Endless Chasm?
Sure. Well, like musically, that was one of our improvs that we like recorded, listened back to it, and like literally maybe changed like 5% of it.
Right.
And just said, that's the structure based on that improv, and let's relearn all that. So musically, like, because it's you can listen to it and go, oh, okay, it's like literally like maybe there's, on first listen you might think that we're playing the same thing over and over again for like 8 minutes.
Right.
But there's all these little variations and small little things that change and happen if you actually pay attention to what's going on. But it was literally, if I was to give you the tape of the improv,
Okay.
you could listen to it and find very minimal things that are different, other than the lyrics and the vocal for the most part.
So it was a pretty, maybe because this is the last track I can ask you, of all the tracks, which was the longest one to complete, and which was the shortest?
Black Water was the longest for sure,
Yeah,
and
a couple
Party
years,
Song was
yeah.
the shortest.
Okay.
Yeah. This was, I mean, we worked on it for a long time, but it was relatively, like I said, we improv'd it. You know, we just like literally like pressed record, or maybe we were in the middle of jamming it, and I was like, oh, I got to press record right now.
Yeah.
You know, so it just, if you listen to it, it might start in some weird random spot, but I mean, we have, you know, gigs and terabytes of data of stuff that we listen back to and go, oh, let's get to that at some point, you know?
Again, it seems like you guys are going off just on all heart and just feeling it out.
Yeah.
And I would never say not structured, but you're going to see where the road takes you.
Yeah, you know, like I played in bands before this one, and throughout the years that it was like one guy came and said, hey, here's a song, and everyone learns that song, and that's cool, and that works for a lot of bands. Or, you know, maybe, you know, like people will get together and I'll write a riff and you'll write a riff and we'll jam them together and make a song out of it.
Right.
But I think for this band, it's always, since day one, it's always been about 4 guys getting into a room and playing their instruments and listening to each other and seeing what sounds best. And then, you know, we'll shift things and tweak things here and there.
Right.
But it's never been like, hey, check out these cool riffs that I have. Everyone learn them now, you know?
Now, yeah, because it's like a group effort, man.
Yeah, and it's cool because we record all of our rehearsals for the most part. Like when we're kind of just jamming and working on new stuff, we'll record everything.
Right.
And it's like for me, I could come up with something and play it and forget it 10 seconds later and never be able to play it again ever.
Really?
That's just my brain. But you know, so when we record stuff, it's like, oh yeah, okay, I can hear that. Oh, I remember how to play that. And
Okay.
we can go through and it's really helpful just to write songs and be able to go back and listen to that stuff. It's like, oh, this is cool. We can, we can build on that.
Sure, absolutely.
It's a really fun song to play towards the end. Like, I think mine and Jonathan's hands always hurt really bad at the end of it because we just fucking bang it out.
You just go
so
all out.
hard. Yeah, I don't know how that our instruments survived that song. And we took a break from that song. We're bringing it back for this tour, and we just said literally before you walked in, we were so stoked that it's back. But yeah, it's going to take a real punishment on our right hands.
Okay. Well, speaking of that, how many songs are you going to have in your list?
We're playing most of the Matter and Void stuff. We've got 2 old songs.
I see it.
Make It So, and we might play Smoke Signals some nights. And then we've got a brand new one called Dependence Day that we're going to introduce. It's just kind of feeling. Maybe we'll ask the crowd if they want to hear an old one or a new one. I really don't know.
Yeah, sometimes it depends. It's a hot crowd.
The new song is definitely different. All of our new stuff's a lot different from Matter and Void, so we're pretty excited to. And we have 4 or 5 new songs that we're working on currently.
Yeah, you're building on what you did with the previous release.
We've just been going at it hardcore.
Now, on Surrounded by Shadows, you had 2 instrumentals, a little longer than the on the current release. Mm-hmm. They both have a very tribal feel to me. Are those songs more of the same, of where you just kind of saw where it was going to go and you just went off the vibe, or were those planned out a little more? Or?
Yeah, so you're referring to Smoke Signals and Surrounded by Shadows, which I believe we kind of came up with that spur of the moment. That was Roger playing a little bass line motif and
right.
The beginning of a song called Mountain Man.
Yeah. Yeah, we just kind of had an intro.
Actually, I feel like we were jamming that because remember the stick click thing? That was just like you and I. I think we pieced that.
Yeah, well, yeah, you're talking about Smoke Signals. Yeah. Yeah, so Smoke Signals was, I don't know, that song came about in a little more of a structured way, It wasn't necessarily full improv. But,
right.
But same formula, just getting into the room and hashing it out. And yeah, the other instrumental was kind of like a Roger solo type thing. I think I had Izzy record some I had her play some wind chimes or something.
It's basically the beginning of the last song.
I literally haven't listened to that since the album came out. I don't
wow,
even know.
It's been a while.
Sounds like.
So I talked to Shane before, so I hope you don't mind, Shane. I'm going to leave you out of this one, but I'd like to talk to the 3 of you for a minute. What was the first song that you learned? I don't know why that caught me as funny, but that's pretty fucking funny. Sorry, Jonathan just put his hand up to Shane, like it's your turn to be quiet now. What was the first song that you learned to play?
Ever?
Yeah.
Mine was, I want to say 46 and 2 by Tool.
Right.
And what's the Primus song, Puppy?
Which Primus song?
Too Many Puppies, maybe? Too Many Puppies?
Okay.
I know that I was a huge Primus fan, and I don't like to tell people that I learned to play bass by Primus, but I was definitely into them, and a kid came over and played a Primus song. He's like, yeah, I'm taking bass lessons, and that was it for me. I was like, fucking where? Who?
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Did you ever see the side project Sausage?
Yeah, I've taken a lot of acid and listened to a lot of Primus.
I saw them.
Sailing the Seas of Cheese just kind of changed me.
Yeah. They were with a band called Firehose years ago.
Tom Watts.
I think they were with also, there was a lo-fi rapper named Basshead, and maybe that was where Stone Temple Pilots headlined.
I saw Sausage at, I want to say Mesa Amphitheater, maybe.
Okay.
I
was down in Florida.
We're pretty old.
With Rollins Band.
That was Helmet, Rollins Band, and Sausage.
Yeah.
Oh, see,
94.
I saw Helmet and Rollins Band the same tour without Sausage. Oh God, I can't remember who else was there, but it might have been just those two. What a great night! Rollins didn't play anything from the first record, and
actually have that whole show on a VHS bootlegged I bought off at East Side Records years ago. It's on VHS, the whole show from Mesa Amphitheater.
It's time to get it to Costco and transfer that to DVD, son.
What was your first song, Jonathan Portnoy?
I have no idea. Like I started playing a really long time ago. I started out playing guitar. So
Okay.
It was probably when I was 12, probably something by the band Van Halen.
I think I've
guess.
heard of them. That's the guy with the thing and the stuff.
Yeah. There's
All right.
Was it Eruption?
It was probably, I want to say it was probably
Mean Streets.
Jump.
Ooh, nice.
That was,
Did you learn the synth line too?
Yeah.
no, just the guitar part. Because I was in the jazz band at school, and the drummer in the jazz band could play the drum part to Jump, and I could kind of play the first few chords. That's probably it.
Well, you might as well jump. I mean, why not?
Heck yeah. I'm pretty. My memory serves me correctly. Yeah. No. I think I bought my. Well, I know my aunt sold me a guitar. She taught me how to like play a power chord,
Right.
and so she sold me this like Japanese Stratocaster, and my dad took me to high school because my dad was a teacher at the high school and football coach, and we went into the gymnasium, and there was like a Sun PA system, like 2x12 PA, and I plugged into my guitar was going to sound all huge, and there was no distortion. I didn't realize what distortion pedals were or whatever.
Right.
But I remember just playing like the little riff "Until Live Is to Die" Metallica on "Justice for All," the dun 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 dun, 2, 3, 5, that, and just all on one string, and Iron Man.
Yeah, that seems to be a go-to.
Right.
All right. Fantastic.
Did Sun PAs turn off when the sun sets?
I mean, it was the daylight, and I didn't stay after dark, so I couldn't tell you, bro.
Well, I can step in on this, being a musical expert. I would say yes, they do, and that's the reason why we have a place like Moon Custom Cabinetry for the night. Now, if you don't mind,
God.
I would like to ask Jonathan. I'd like to have you, sir, on a separate interview, just for some band talk in like more band growth and some other outside aspects other than the music itself. But can you tell me a little bit about what you do, and then I'll have you on a separate day?
As far as the cabinet stuff goes?
Yeah, man. And the name of it is Moon Custom Cabinetry.
Mostly, I mean, the bulk of it is I make effects pedal boards out of old vintage suitcases.
Right.
That's kind of the bulk of what I like to make. I also make speaker cabinets, guitar cabinets, and bass cabinets. What else? Oh,
And they're gorgeous.
I do. I will refinish old beat up cabinets, and I'll take. It started well. I mean, I'm not going to get too far into it, but can take a combo amp and build a head shell for it. Oh yeah, I made that's the only one of its kind, a guitar stand.
So would you make those for other people if they wanted them?
Sure.
All right, so this is a beautiful guitar stand. I don't know, maybe we can even can I take a picture of that, or is this like a sacred space where we don't take pictures? Or?
No, you can take a picture.
I would love
a picture
to.
of it on the Instagram.
Ooh, yeah.
No.
Yeah, there's a
seasoning.
lot of bras and I don't know. There's a lot of other weird material on there. I'm gonna have to clean it up. But there's actually guitars underneath it, and it looks gorgeous.
Yeah, that's kind of the prototype of something I was just kind of screwing around with, but it kind of born out of necessity. I needed a place to put all my guitars, so
Right.
And it worked out.
And it's a hell of a lot better than laying them on the floor.
Correct.
Or laying them against an amp that somebody might kick it and it falls, and
Also
it's
correct.
the worst feeling.
I've lost guitars that way.
And the first time I ever heard about this, I mean, we'll mention it again, but when we were at the Gate Creeper show, it was Full of Hell and Goya and Bloodlust, and I can't remember bassist, guitarist. You're asking me like, do you like the pedal board? And I was like, oh, okay. So he's borrowing your pedal board. I guess that's kind of nice. That's cool. He says, and Jonathan looks at me. And says, no, I made that. And I was like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know. But
that was one of the first ones I made too.
And I'm going to put a link in the show notes because you got to check this stuff out. If you're looking for some custom work, this is the guy to go to. If obviously can't do it while on tour, but maybe while I come back, you'll get some beautiful looking pedal boards, some rich woods. What kind of woods are you using?
Yeah, I try to use kind of, as exotic as I can afford, which is not much, but
right.
Like I've used most of them are maple. I've used mahogany. There's one that I made out of Purple Heart that came out really weird.
Nice.
It's cool, and just different, whatever wood I can find that seems cool.
Okay. And just to switch gears a little bit, I heard you off mic a little bit. I would just want to ask you. I know you were in a previous band that disbanded. Actually, I see it on the on that water bottle there. The band Horsehead.
Yeah.
What kind of project was that?
So I joined Horsehead a long time ago. I guess it was probably right around the time that SORXE was starting out.
Right.
Is when I joined, and I joined them on guitar, and we played for a while, and it just kind of imploded, and I'm not exactly sure what happened, but just kind of for whatever reason, it was just we weren't feeling it as a 2-guitar band. And I don't know what else was going on with the other fellas, but kind of Horsehead sort of imploded. And then a while later, Chris and Wilson and Drew, the other 3 guys,
right?
Drummer, guitarist, and vocalist, decided to kind of get it back together and go into the studio, and they recorded just, I think it was 3 or 4 song EP called Missionary. Just to kind of reboot it, and they decided they, were having fun and feeling it, and Horsehead was feeling good again, and they asked if I would want to come back and play bass in Horsehead. I was like, yeah, sure. So that was fun, and Horsehead's a great band, and we played a bunch of shows, and just had fun and wrote songs and played shows, and then just kind of Drew had a baby, and Wilson had some kind of other interests, different stuff that he wanted to pursue, and Chris got busy with school, and I got busy with work, and I'd been I was in both Horsehead and SORXE for a while,
right?
And things were kind of picking up with SORXE, and I was like, I just don't have time for 2 bands. So,
Sure.
So Horsehead just kind of, we went in the studio and recorded all the songs that we kind of had been playing out that weren't recorded. Went to Audio Confusion Studio out in Mesa.
Right.
And recorded an EP called Terminal that turned out really good. And just, we called it. We played a farewell show at Time Out Lounge, and
in Tempe,
half a dozen people showed up and got their mind blown, and that was it. But yeah, Horsehead was fun.
Okay, so what was the last release that they did?
Horsehead?
Yeah,
it was the Terminal.
Terminal. Okay, I'll put a link in the show notes. Now, I just have one other quick question for you. Do you have any idea where the Hippie War Machine is right now?
The Hippie War Machine, one of the guys passed away. Mm-hmm. Colin he was in Mexico for a while.
Okay.
How do you know about Hippie War Machine?
I know things. Uh-huh.
I can't remember who else was in that band.
Okay.
But, yeah, that's all I know.
And I you just had this... You had this borderline look. I want to say it was like a cross between, is it Bill or Ted? Who's got the blonde hair?
be Bill.
So it would be a cross between Bill and Spicoli from Fast Times. You had that look going. It was quite a rocking look, I must say.
Nice.
So all right, I was just curious. And is that van anywhere?
Who knows? Oh, that's how you know. No, I wasn't in Hippie War Machine. I was in a band called Brain Dance back in the Flagstaff days.
That was on the side of it.
Yeah. No, that van. I don't know what happened to that thing. That was amazing though.
How many miles did you have before you gave that one up?
No idea. It wasn't even my van.
Okay. I just figured I'd throw something out weird to see if you'd freak out.
See if I can, hey, how's he gonna?
It's like, wow, the hell are you gonna know that?
To this, yeah, it was very.
Yeah, social media is a bitch sometimes.
Long time ago.
So if you could pass a microphone to Tanner, and I'd like to ask you, what can you tell me about Autumn's End?
Autumn's End. So Autumn's End reformed. It's about 2 years ago, I think.
Right.
So Jason Kowalski, drummer for Hogjaw, and previously before that, N17, and Chris Canella, the kind of the brainchild behind Autumn's End. They asked me to join the band,
Right.
To play guitar, and I said yes. And it's been a lot of fun. It's fun to just like jump behind a guitar and just like play some like completely different style, still within the metal realm, but it's just a completely different style of metal.
Sure.
Where I can just like, the tuning's different, and I'm just playing guitar and playing faster and shredding, kind of back to my roots, like when I first started learning how to play guitar and stuff. And Jason and I always like, I know Jason for a while, and we always talked about like, it'd be cool to like do a band sometime, you know?
Sure.
So it's been fun, and we recently got signed to Combat Records, which is David Ellefson's label, the bass player from Megadeth.
Yeah.
And we're shooting to have the first album out on their label sometime early 2019.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, is that the same as the old Combat Records?
Yeah.
It just Ellefson bought it?
Revamped it.
He revamped it. Okay.
Yeah, it went away, I guess, is the story I heard, and then he bought it and.
Yeah, I think
turned it back into
was that
something.
the one where there was I back in the day I had my own VHS tape of it was Slayer, Exodus, and Venom. It was I think it was the Combat Tour.
Yeah.
And they were at the Ritz in New York, and afterward they had this guy, if you want the best in metal, and it was like Impaler and Trouble the Skull, and so all this kind of other stuff, and
Right.
of course Megadeth was on it, and
Yeah, that was the first label that Megadeth signed to before they went to what did they pick them up?
they
Some
didn't go to-
major label.
Elektra, Megaforce, I don't know. I want to say I can't remember.
Metallica
But
got Elektra. Megadeth got put on something else.
they got something.
Yeah.
Have
Capital.
you heard the reissue of Killing Is My Business?
Yeah.
Oh my God, man! I love it.
Yeah, they've actually reissued, remixed, and remastered that a few times now. I want to say.
I like this one.
but this is the first time they pressed it on vinyl, so I picked up the LP.
Yeah.
A little bit ago, but the drums are amazing. The drummer Gar is like one of the best metal drummers I've ever heard, and
I haven't done my
it's sad
research
he's
on
only been on
Gar.
2 albums.
But is he?
He's dead.
I was gonna say
He died after the Peace Cells tour, I believe.
Oh, I didn't realize it was that long ago.
Oh yeah, he died after Peace Cells, and
Wow.
he was I think he died of a heroin overdose. I want to say.
I remember back in the
Correct
day.
me if I'm wrong, people.
Yeah, please. Yeah, doomtombpodcast@gmail.com, blah, blah, blah. Excuse me, I remember seeing them in New York, obviously way underage to go see them. And, it was back in the days when, the headliner, they wouldn't go on till like 1:30. And, you get done with a show, it's like 4 a.m. or something like that. And I remember I got to see Gar at the show, and I was like, oh, this, and I didn't know that they were going to go through all those changes and et cetera. But
Right.
man, those first few albums, Killing Is My Business and Peace Sells, man, some of my favorites growing up.
Yeah, both those guys were jazz cats,
Yeah,
and that's kind of what set them apart.
heavy jazz influence.
Yeah.
You can hear it. Okay, so there was this tour that I had seen, and actually I can see it also on the wall behind you all. There was a tour where it was Take Over and Destroy, or a show. I think it was a Crescent. Gatecreeper was there, and there's one band that Tox, the guy, he was in Return to Zero. He's in band Heavy, Face the Flames out here. He's focusing mainly on Heavy. He turned me on to this band, Gale. Does anybody know anything about Gale? I messaged them one time because I love the music, right? And I messaged them, and it was kind. It was a kind response, but they just said, yeah, we're never going to play as a live band ever again. But you can buy the CD. I mean, I bought the CD, but I was wondering, what was Gale like live?
Loud.
Yeah.
That was their...
owns the studio.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, that was Marcus. That's Marcus.
Holy
Bryant.
shit!
In Spirit of Drift and Goya.
That is okay. It's all coming around now.
Is in Horsehead.
Yeah, the guitarist for Gale was in Horsehead.
Wow.
It's all very incestuous.
Very small world. I just fell in love with Gale, and I mean, Tox was he tried telling me about them and the other Mantard. I mean, I'm not here, but that's part of where Tox got his sound from. Playing.
If anyone listening to this out there in podcast world owns a record label, you should press the Gale album on vinyl and the Horsehead album on vinyl, because I want to own both of those.
Okay.
Amazing talent in this town.
That, you never know. We might have some wheels turning in that.
Yeah, they're both like just disgustingly heavy albums, and they're both re-recorded by dude Jalop has it, Audio Confusion, yeah, which he does like kind of like live recordings, right? Everything's pretty much live.
He does everything.
Yeah.
Every little thing.
And what can you tell me lastly about Wood Splitter?
Wood Splitter. Fucking
real proggy.
Wood Splitter's yeah, actually SORXE probably wouldn't have been this band without Wood Splitter, because Wood Splitter's the only band I've ever gotten kicked out of, actually. But but I'm glad it happened. But it was fun. It was like, that was a band that I joined because I was friends with the guitar player, and I'd known him for a lot of years, and I really respect him as a musician. And
right.
All the people in that band were like really awesome musicians, like that really challenged me. Like and I jumped into it just doing vocals only, which was kind of fun. It was a fun project, and we just kind of played shows locally. I think most of the people in that band didn't really aspire to do anything more than just play local shows, and that's probably the reason why they let me go out of that band, because I was kind of pushing them to, let's do this, let's make this happen. And that's one thing, if you're ever starting a band, you want to have a conversation with the people in the band about what your goals are,
right?
Because you might be the only guy that wants to like just conquer the world, and everyone else just wants to play in a band,
stay local, and play in front of their 10 people.
Yeah, and that's great for a lot of people, but it's good to be on the same page. So,
okay.
Yeah, I mean, after Wood Splitter, I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna like focus on my own project, because I was doing a lot of other people's bands and contributing to them, and that's what started SORXE. I wanted to start something, so
it's a positive, man.
Totally.
Outstanding. Now, Chris, if you could grab the mic a little bit. You have a side project, not musically, but it's called Dodo Key Designs.
Yeah.
Can you explain what you do?
I just do design, a lot of branding and imagery. I was a graphic designer for a long time, and
right.
Got sick of making art for unartistic people sitting in a cubicle, and just started really bum me out.
Mm-hmm.
And had to turn down touring with past bands because I had a career per se. And right around 2009, 2010, everything started to change, and a lot of companies just didn't need 3 graphic designers on staff, and I got let go because I was a low man on the totem pole, and decided to just say, fuck it, work from home, and started bartending on the side because I wanted to not turn down tours, and I wanted to be in a band and do whatever I did till the wheels fell off. But I love doing design, so I just created my own company, and I do a lot of logos for local companies. Or,
Okay.
all over. I know a lot of people all over the United States that have had me design, but right now I'm kind of just focusing on my wife's company, Badass Beauty. So a lot of my design goes into her.
What is that?
She does permanent makeup.
Oh, okay.
So, and
Do you
she's
have any right now, or?
Launching I've got this mole.
You've got. Yeah. I've got to say, the eyes. I don't know. Did she do something to bring out your eyes or something?
Tattooed those blue.
Yeah.
They're normally bloodshot.
Maybe you could. Maybe. Look, I got to be honest. I don't know where SORXE is going to go with the next album. But if you decide to go a little goth, a little emo, maybe she could tattoo a little black or on the lip or something.
Yeah. I'm banking on her.
Okay.
She's a talent, but yeah, I'm doing all that, and so she's launching a cosmetics line and all that. So I'm just putting all of my design efforts into my wife, who I love so much. So
outstanding. Maybe you could even put it at the merch table. Have your. This is the SORXE for the makeup kind of thing ish. Okay, cool. Well, shout out to her. And I have 2 questions from the previous band that I was talking to was Wizard. And their first question, it's, see what you can make of this. Have you heard the good word of Iomi?
I think the good word of Iomi is don't cut the tips of your fingers off. I don't know.
Right.
Don't make more than 6 records.
Yeah.
Did you, was this, I don't know, was this a true story? Did I dream this, where he had a leather jacket that he used to make the tips for his finger, and he keeps the same jacket, and he just keeps getting those tips made? Did I dream that, or is that a real story?
Like some sort of cheddar cheese jacket now?
Yeah, it's kind of a Swiss. Yeah, who knows? Depending on where it is, it could have a little from under. As we're calling back. Early influences. What do you guys got?
For me, it's Rush, Living Color.
Really?
Famous. Yeah.
What's one of your favorite Living Color tracks?
Not Your America, off their first album.
Yep.
Communication Breakdown, off their second album.
Nice.
Yeah. They're fucking just unbelievably talented.
I still like, what is it? Is it Open Letter to a Landlord?
Yeah.
It still gets me.
Tear a building
down.
Yeah.
But you can't erase the memory. Yeah.
I tried to play that at a bar that I worked at not too long ago, and they weren't having it.
And of course, Cult of Personality is great.
And
too.
Pink Floyd, I think, is the greatest band of all time. So
fantastic. Oh, we're going around the horn here, Tanner.
Faith No More, Angel Dust.
Okay. And we got. I know Shane is saying we got.
Shane's
I got his influences. We're gonna share that on a separate podcast.
What's the question again?
Influences, early influences.
Early influences, Led Zeppelin,
Right.
Van Halen,
Right.
Just squealy guitar god type of Hendrix stuff, and
ABBA.
My mom is like ABBA fan #1, and she would play that shit in the car.
My mom too. Same thing.
I can't hate
if they can
ABBA.
afford, if somebody can afford it. Yeah, it's going to be a huge price tag.
I don't know, are they all 4 of them still alive?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe so.
Right. Yeah, I mean you can't hate ABBA.
No, I mean they bring hits.
I don't know about as far as influence goes, but
I mean, come on, you were listening to Waterloo,
yeah,
loving it. Now, did your mom see Mamma Mia?
Oh yeah,
She had to.
4,000
Probably has it on DVD. Now that's the
yeah.
big question: has she seen the second one, and is it worthy?
Yeah, no, I don't know. I'm assuming so. Yeah, she and my daughter, that's their thing. I didn't go.
You did. You went. So you could. It's okay. We're
Grammy
among
and
friends.
thing.
You can tell me. You didn't go?
No.
All right. What's a movie genre you're into?
Movie genre that I'm
Yeah.
into. I don't know, I like all sorts of movies.
What was the last great movie you saw?
Well,
Did you say
saw
bestiality? Is that
I
is
saw
that a thing?
Black Klansman just a couple of days ago. That was
How was it?
It was great.
Yeah.
It was heavy. It was really good.
A little bit of a twist, or just got brutal.
It just kind of it was a good joint.
It was a Spike Lee joint.
It it's based in, I don't know, what was it, 70s, 80s, I can't remember.
Right.
70s. But he tied it right into what's going on
With current climate.
Yeah, so it's just like Marvin Gaye.
And the last question I have that was from Wizard is, do you guys have any strange or peculiar, weird, wild stories from touring, recording, anything that went down that was like particularly odd?
Someone in this band jacked off at Costco bathrooms a lot.
Did you use the grease from the pizza as a lubricant, or?
I did eat a lot of pizza, but I don't think that person used the grease.
Now, did anybody like instead, like maybe they went to the food court and got like, here's your Polish sausage right here or something?
Post-load pizza for sure.
Nice. That's an extra topping. No charge, by the way. No charge. And I mean, I understand it's high in sodium, but you got to do what you got to do.
Well, there's not a lot of stories because we've only gone out once, but hopefully we'll make some new stories here on this next run, right?
Great idea.
I mean, you know what I'm saying?
Catch these guys when they're coming out on tour. Do any of you have a question that I could ask the next band?
Have you ever worn women's underwear?
Oh, okay. Are you more of now what do you prefer? Do you prefer more a lace or more of a satin?
I don't have a preference.
Okay,
It's just,
fair enough.
I mean, for my personal preference or for a woman?
No, just the kind you'd
women.
wear. No, I know. Obviously, women, they don't wear underwear. So, yeah, you're more of a granny panty, like a white cotton,
Like a burlap sack.
a lot of coverage, a high waist, just everything covered. All right, okay. And yourself, sir? Do you have a question, Chris?
If Clarence is on a southbound train doing 35 miles an hour and Laquita's doing jumping jacks, who's the atheist?
You know what? I really like that question. Jonathan, do you have a question?
Thinking.
Okay. Should we do the Jeopardy theme or? Yes.
What's up with your feet?
You know what? I think that's a perfect place to end it, gentlemen. Hey, everybody out there, SORXE is going on tour. West Coast dates. Check them out. Follow them on Facebook. Gentlemen, it's been an honor and a privilege to talk to you all. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Have the best night.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Later. We're out. Much thanks to everybody in the band SORXE. Hope you have a great tour, and we'll see you when you get back. Let's hear a track off of Matter and Void. This is the opener, which, spoiler alert, this is what they used to open their set, and it was fantastic. Check it out. This is Hypnotizer. If you haven't heard, the band Twingiant could be done. Gosh, man. Saw them live a few times. Really enjoyed the show. Fantastic live. Anyway, they've got like a fire sale going on over in Bandcamp. I'll put a link in the show notes. Check their stuff out. You'll get some stuff at a fantastic price. Let's hear a track. This is called Daisy Cutter. Next up is the band Plainride. They're based out of Cologne, Germany, and I really don't know what the hell they have going on with all those jackalopes, but hey, if anybody could figure it out, message them and give them the answer. This is Plainride with El Coyote. You need to reach us? It's doomtombpodcast at gmail.com. We're on social media at doomtombpodcast. You can check out the videos, photos, whatever we have going on over there. Leave us a review on iTunes if you get a chance. 5 stars would be awesome. And even a written review. That'd be fantastic. Next episode is the band Worshipper based out of Massachusetts. Hope you enjoy it. Until that time, keep going to the shows. Buy some band merch every once in a while. And don't forget to stay heavy.